Everyone, and welcome back to the Superhero Chronicles. And let's just get this over with. This is a pros and cons review of Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi's final Spider-Man movie in his ill-fated trilogy. I want to try my best to make this review as short as possible because I have a lot to say about this movie, and not all of it is good. So let's get the good stuff out of the way now. The pros. Number one, as usual, Sam Raimi does a fantastic job visually as a director with his camera work, specifically for his action scenes. The action scenes in this movie are really, really well shot and are probably the best in the whole trilogy. Which brings me to point number two. The opening action sequence with Harry and Peter is awesome. Great action sequence. When they're chasing each other all over New York, it's fun to watch. Uh, Pro 3. The visual effects for the Sandman look awesome. They look really, really good. I like them a lot. Sam Raimi used the Sandman because he's a visually fascinating character, and you can tell that Raimi had a lot of affinity for the Sandman because the Sandman does look really cool when he's fighting. Key word: when he's fighting, the Sandman looks cool. When he's in human form, we'll get to that later. Pro 4. Pro 4. The end credits. Let's move on to the cons. Con number one. Mary Jane in this movie is a cunt bitch. She is a bitch. She's in a Broadway musical, right? She gets bad reviews. Peter, as a way to cope with Mary, as a way to help Mary Jane cope, compares the bad reviews that Mary Jane gets to the bad reviews he gets of Spider-Man as a way to relate to her. And Mary Jane is just like, this isn't about you, this is about me. And like you watch this movie and you're like, you dumb motherfucker. He's comparing your situation to his. He is talking about you, but he's using an example as a way to not make you feel so bad. You're stupid. I'm not going to dwell on Mary Jane any more than that because throughout this movie, she is the most dumbest fucking bitch in this movie's ever seen. But fuck it. She deserves to get buried. The writing of her character in this movie is atrocious, appalling. It goes against everything Mary Jane is. It even goes against what she was in the first two movies. In addition to that, to always bitching out Peter for stupid shit. I'm going to be jumping ahead, but I'll get back to it but I will get back to it when I get to that point. This movie, after the fight scene, Harry gets amnesia, right, and he loses his memory, his short-term memory. But shortly after he gets it back, he goes on and threatens Mary Jane and says, he goes on to threaten Mary Jane and and says, "I want you to break up with Peter, or I'll kill him." So, Mary Jane, completely forgetting that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and that he is physically capable of handling Harry and diffusing the situation, does the jackass moronic thing and just be like, "Peter, I need to break up with you." You, that's what she did. That's what she did. He's Spider-Man, and that he can physically take care of Harry. So instead of being like, Peter, Harry's got his memory back. He's right across the lake over there. Go kick his ass. Instead, you're just like, Peter, it's not working out between us. I found someone else. I want to leave you forever. And Peter starts crying like a little bitch. Fuck you, Mary Jane. Fuck the people who wrote this. This movie is horribly written. And this is even the tip of the iceberg. This is just a small little nugget of the iceberg and it just, ugh. Con number 2. Retconning the first movie. The reasoning for Sandman in this movie is just to be a plot device to the first movie. In the first movie, we established that the carjacker who robbed the event that Peter was at during his match, shot and killed Uncle Ben in a carjack. Okay, and that character, a couple of scenes later, fell out of a window and died. Okay, killer is dead. Spider-Man 3 had a bright idea to retcon all that shit and make Sandman the guy who killed Uncle Ben. Makes no fucking sense. Completely fucking stupid. You retconned for no reason. Just because you did it for no reason. And not only that, you give Sandman this sympathetic backstory about how he's like not a bad person who just does bad things, and he has a sick daughter and he has to rob. Motherfucker, get a job. Spider-Man 3 is trying so hard to be Spider-Man 2 in this instance that it's ridiculous. What worked for Dr. Octopus is not working for Sandman, because Sandman comes across as a sob story, not I feel sorry for you. It comes across of I feel sorry for you, but there are ways for you to do this without becoming a criminal. Get a job. Poorly written character. Sandman sucks. Like I said, visually in terms of his actions, Sandman's awesome. In terms of the acting and the performance and the way it's written, blah. Just blah. I like Thomas Hayden Church, but and he does try, but the material he has to work with is just blah. Con number 5. This movie is full of time filler. I mean, the time filler in this movie is atrocious. The whole stuff with Sandman, that plot device, is time filler. Harry's amnesia is time filler. The scene where Mary Jane and Harry are at Harry's house, dancing like retards, is time filler. The stuff with Eddie Brock, and we'll get to that later, is time filler. Just so much fucking time filler. It's just stop with the time filler. It's just like, I don't care about any of this shit going on. Just get to the end so I can be happy and leave. Ugh. Now we get to the other con, which is we go back to Harry. As I said, Harry suffered from amnesia, and that's just a way to write him out of the movie so you can focus on 6,000 other subplots going on that you don't care about. All that work that was done with Harry from Spider-Man 1 and 2 is completely, in a way to me, whitewashed with that amnesia crap. It's like, really? Why would you do this? I've said this, and other people have said this. You could have saved this movie with Harry's part of the movie if you would have had him faking the amnesia as a diabolical ploy to just get Peter when he's caught off guard and not expecting it. That would have been amazing. That would have been awesome, and that really, really would have been like just a fucking diabolical, sneaky son of a bitch move to make. It was like, Peter, you killed my father. I faked all this just to get close to you again. Now fuck you. That would have been cool. But they didn't do that because they actually gave him amnesia, and it didn't factor into the plot whatsoever. Like I said, it was just used as a device to write Harry out of the movie so you can focus on the shit that you don't care about, which is the Sandman's poorly written character, the systematic raping of Venom and Eddie Brock, which we're going to get to next. Con number 7, I don't remember. The systematic destruction of the symbiote and what it means. And in this part of the con, I'm going to be explaining how they fucked up Peter and how they fucked up Brock in terms of the symbiote. Number 1. First things first. The complete characterization of the symbiote is way off. The movie makes a symbiote come across as an evil entity, when in the comic books that could be further from the truth. The symbiote is essentially an animal that bonds to a host in order to survive. The symbiote is not an evil entity. It's like an animal that wants to survive. But what the symbiote does is that it enhances your character traits. So it's like, in terms of Peter, it makes Peter more aggressive. In terms of someone like, in terms of someone like a Brock, it would just like feed into, it would just continue to enhance like the rage that he's feeling. That's how the symbiote works. It's like a drug. The symbiote is pretty much an allegory for crack. It makes you, it just enhances your feelings. Like for Peter, the suit becomes a drug because he becomes addicted to it and it tears him apart inside. With Eddie Brock, also becomes addicted to the suit because it gives him power in a way to like cope with all the shit that he gone through. This is all from the comic books. In the movie, it's completely fucking different. In the movie, the symbiote turns Peter into this dancing goofball emo douchebag, and Eddie Brock just gets the suit because he gets it in the comics. Why not? Because Eddie Brock in this movie is fucking garbage. Eddie Brock in the comics is this broken down character. He becomes a disgraced photographer because he was given bad information. Father disowns him. Wife leaves him. Just as he's getting back on track, he gets cancer. And he goes to a church to have so that God can forgive him. And that's when the symbiote attaches to him. But before I forget, he uses his dislike of Spider-Man as a coping mechanism to, help him not feel so bad about himself. And the suit in the books enhances that coping defense, which is his dislike of Spider-Man. The movie, Brock's this sniveling little douchebag who is a fraud, idiot, and a moron. He's in the movie. Brock's like, oh, I'm Eddie Brock. No, Peter, don't disgrace me, please. I need this. Even though I faked a photo of Spider-Man robbing a bank, I need a job. I wanted someone to kick Eddie Brock in the balls in this movie so bad because it was so poorly done. Topher Grace, you are funny as Eric Foreman, but you are shitty as Eddie Brock. I am sorry. The way your character was written was garbage. Like, I wouldn't have minded Topher Grace if his character was similar to how it was in the books, instead of this completely rewritten, nonsensical garbage that we were given. Terrible. Con number 8. Con number 8. The lack of J.K. Simmons in this movie. That's right. I only count maybe 3 scenes where J.K. Simmons in this movie, and those 3 scenes are the best scenes of the whole movie. It's just J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson, because it's just a continuing awesomeness of him as Jameson. And of course, you have nice little bits where he's on medications, and every time he has to take a medication, Betty Brant, buzzes and it shakes his whole desk, and that shit's hilarious. There's also a funny scene at the end fight where this little kid cons him into buying a camera for $100 and then swindles him to buy film. That shit was hilarious. I love it. Jameson, as usual, is great, and even in this wretched piece of filth, he still has shining beacons of awesomeness. And of course, another huge con: Gwen Stacy. Why is Gwen Stacy in this movie? Gwen Stacy was just used as an object to make Mary Jane jealous. Fucking stupid. In the books, Gwen Stacy's Peter's first love, and she's just as intelligent as Peter. She's a smart character. I dare say she's probably a more interesting character than Mary Jane. But in this movie, she's a bubble-headed idiot who can barely survive science class and does modeling on the side. This is not Gwen Stacy. This is just some random blonde-haired girl whose name happens to be Gwen Stacy. Stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid. Another con. What's another con? Because I'm getting tired of con. I'm getting this movie's making my brain hurt. It's because it's so fucking dumb. It's just so poorly written. It's poorly, in certain scenes, the acting is done poorly. The action scenes are well shot, but the story that leads up to the action are just so dumb. Just so dumb. The writing is just, I can't say enough. The writing is dumb. This is a movie is a piece of garbage in terms of its writing. In terms of its direction, it looks just as good as the previous three. But in terms of story quality, I put it on par. I put it on par with the 2005 Fantastic Four, and we'll get to that wretched piece of filth very soon. Overall, my overall thoughts on Spider-Man 3 is a 3 out of 10. The movie's a 3 out of 10. Very few pros do not outweigh the many, many cons. This movie, this movie could have been so much more, and it became so much less. Fuck you, Sony, for forcing Sam Raimi to go against his original idea, which had the makings of being a fantastic movie. Instead, you're forcing to put it together this thrown together wretched piece of crap just to make a quick buck, and because you think you know what the fans want, you don't know what the fans want. We want Venom. We want Venom done right. We want to see Gwen Stacy. We want to see Gwen Stacy done right. We want to see Peter's addiction to the suit. But we want to see the addiction to the suit done right. And this movie gets everything wrong. 3 out of 10. Avoid it like the plague. I am AJ Legend. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.